don't know anybody who ever came out this far.
Ever consider the Marauder life? It's pretty sweet. I doubt that. Nobody in that camp really cared about me. Wait, you're telling me he's got a copy of the Masked Marketeer? Why didn't you say so? I'll take my stuff and head on back, I suppose. Grace is gonna be glaring knives at me, so I've got that to look forward to.
What is it? We didn't always get along, but I'm glad to know she's safe. What happened, anyway? You pretty much did my job for me. Least I could do is pay you for your trouble. Let me know if I can do something for you.
Another day at the cannery.
You think corporate's ever gonna visit?
I've always felt weird in here. It's too clean.
Hey there, Mary. Don't see you round here too often.
Oh, I just came to talk to the vicar is all. None of us are above confessionals.
What have you got to confess? You ain't thinking of deserting, are you?
What? No. And I resent the accusation.
Wasn't nothing but a question. Do excuse me.
I must be on my way.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max, if you're the sort who prefers brevity. And Ms. Holcomb as well. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
Just tagging along, Vicar DeSoto. Don't mind me.
I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling? This season's tossball predictions? The quickest way out of town?
But what? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink away. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked you to do? I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk. They rejected the order of society and live beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our Spacer's Choice patrons. Does that strike you as a responsible life choice? Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold. If it were as easy as a few soothing words in the right ears, I'm sure it would have been done already. Consider it a challenge. If you don't mind a bit of unsolicited advice, be cautious on your way to the geothermal plant. It is not as safe as you might assume. The marauders I met when I ventured outside the walls might agree with you. Bastards snuck up on me while I was dutifully hunting for a banned book in the collector's library. Barely escaped with my life. But you see, one of the reasons I transferred here was to get my hands on that heretical text. If you managed to acquire it for me, I'd pay quite a handsome sum for the book. What? No! I don't want to burn it! I would never... I mean, I just want to... Look, I have a very simple goal here. I just want to keep the writing out of layman's hands. It wouldn't do for such information to fall into public consumption. On the contrary, my position means that I am one of the few legally allowed to possess such items. But do not worry. You'll be safe since you are acting on my behalf. Glad we see eye to eye. It's a handwritten journal, a faded blue cover with the name M. Bakonu handwritten in the lower corner. I'll mark where I saw it on your map. Assuming you're serious? Wonderful. This is fantastic. Well worth all the sacrifices I... Wait. What the fuck is this? Is this... French? I can't fucking read French. It's a law-forsaken joke is what it is. French. Ha! I was so high and mighty, preaching to the yokels about following the plan, while fighting it at every turn. I've spent my life searching for the keys to unlocking the secrets of the universal equation that underlies the plan. I had hoped this book held some of those answers. I became so desperate,
Нормально,
I
чувак,
even got
блин.
myself assigned to this plague-ridden
Запорол.
backwater to find the damn thing. All the time and suffering I've spent. Wasted.
Вот так вот.
Yes, you're right. Such are the workings of the equation. And I've only my own hubris to blame. I certainly never planned for this contingency. But that's neither here nor there. What I need to do now is to find a translator, obviously. But to do that, I'll first need to secure transport. You have a ship. Perhaps I could make myself of use to your crew.
Да?
Certainly. I already gave you most of my money, but I can offer you free spiritual counseling, and I'd be happy to watch your back. I'm pretty handy with a tossball stick, or any blunt instrument, really. I'm also a passable gun hand, if it comes to that. I can usually talk my way out of conflict, though. Oh, I'm fairly competent at hacking computers as well.
Нифига себе. Священник компы. На школе говорят. Да, погнали. чё.
Fantastic. Let me get my things in order, and I'll catch up with you.
Edgewater's gonna miss you. Folk here always had good things to say about their vicar.
Thank you, Ms. Holcomb. I'll be glad for the change of scenery, and to leave this place behind. I shall see you on the ship, Captain, whenever you're ready to leave Emerald Vale.
Нормально. А сколько можно... Опа, куда делать тян? Порвать... А, вон жизни есть. Значит, она где-то рядом. О. Ты где пряталась? Под столом? Она была у него под... Ух ты, шалунишка. Я с ним, значит, разговариваю, а там под столом дела делается. Так, что мне вкачать теперь? М-м-м. Вот, теперь я могу отдельно качать, да? Отлично. Да, пускай будет по 50 все. Убеждение. Убеждение хорошая вещь, надо прокачать убеждение. Пока что сопротивление огневого именно я вообще не испытываю, чтобы у меня был маленький урон. Так что пока буду качать болтовню. Так, Парвати, нам теперь надо что-то делать с этой... Ха. Ага. Короче, надо к Аделаиде сгонцать. Тут у нас подстанция, а здесь у нас... Ну, блин. Ай. Да, поговорим с ней. Скажем, бабуля, извини. Выхода у меня нет. Хотя предупрежу, ваши цветочки полетят. Бабуля, я здесь, повернись. А, игра сломалась. О.
Reed Thompson? You here on behalf of that cold-eyed reptile? Let's hear it. What's Reed's idea of peace, then?
Пиздем.
Make amends. Spare me. Only thing Reed knows how to make is a mess. Like everything else that comes out of Edgewater, that peace offering is canned. I and my own are living just fine out here by ourselves. He would do such a thing. The question is, why would you agree to his plans?
Ну, потому что мне нужно улететь нахрен отсюда.
Cannery's got a regulator. You want ship parts, you ought to rip them out of the cannery's guts and leave us be. If you're going down to the plant, you should divert power away from Edgewater and toward our end of the grid. Think about it. You'd be liberating an entire town from a lifetime of service to that odious cannery. Seems the sort of thing a hero would do.
И куда они пойдут?
A hero to the people who matter. To us. To the ones who come around. To the ones you save. Reed will never understand. He has been too long inebriated on the wine of corporate culture. All he sees is productivity, output, profits.
Да, но там город, и они живут. А здесь чигиря какие-то непонятные. Если там целый город без электричества оставить, что они будут делать? Ну, завалят они этого дедана, или он сам куда-то убежит. А дальше что? Все, пустой город нахрен никому не нужный. Все к вам сюда припрутся, и вы такие: перенаселение, wey!
Life in Edgewater grinds to a halt. The cannery shuts down, workers desert in droves, and our own little camp grows and thrives.
И ты станешь такой же самой этой диктаторшей.
You bring power to Reed's town and you'll be killing us. Reed knows it. He's counting on it. You've seen that miserable excuse for a town with your own lamps. Hollowed out workers laboring their lives away at the cannery, living off whatever scraps Spacer's choice throws them. You know that's true, don't you, Ms. Holcomb? Your father died of overwork. His heart gave out.
He was tired all the time, sure, but he was old, ma'am, and he raised me all by his lonesome.
Look what they did to this child. Lost her family to the company, and still she defends them.
Давишь на это, на жалость.
It's not much of a living. Every single person in that town has sold themselves to Spacer's Choice. The company owns them. Body, blood, and bones. You've been there. You've seen it. All anyone ever does is toil over a cannery. They give their lives for some heartless corporation, and then they're tossed into a Spacer's Choice brand cemetery.
Ну, могилы, да, там... Так, погоди. Если с тобой поговорить, что ты
Something
скажешь?
you need?
Проницательность.
That's on account of how I never met her. She was in another division of the Spacer's Choice family. She worked in the Vale a few months, sorting the cannery computers. Her contract said any kids she had, expected or not, belonged to her office from the time of conception. So when I was born, I got sent here. It's sensible. Dad just fixed machines. She did some kind of crazy math, high-level stuff. Better to raise me on his time than hers. You mean about the mission being too clean? I know, but Vicker says the universe is a machine, that it runs by law. Real machines have gunked up oil, scratches, and worn bits. You can tell they've seen handling, been used by folk. The machine Vickers sees is one ain't never been run. It's not for people to live in. It's something on a museum shelf, under glass. Fixing the universe is a job for somebody way better than the likes of me.
Ладно.
Anything else I can do for you? I am getting old, you know. These two lamps of mine are not as bright as they once were. Or I might have seen you for what you are. Remains to be seen. Might be the man that saves the Vale. Might be Reed's personal gun hand. None of us are ever just passing through, dear. Not without leaving some footprints behind.
Та-та-та.
More of the colony felt the way you did, we'd have ourselves a proper revolution. I can't stop you from conducting your business down at the plant. I just want you to know that if you take our power away, you will have brought an end to our way of life. Not under Reed's watch. He and I would come to blows within a day, and he would never tolerate my tending to a garden. This is my home. It will be my home even if Reed cuts our power. Simple as that.
Так, ладно. Надо осмотреться, посмотреть, как тут люди живут. Ну, типа зеленый город, яблоки на деревьях, а там, точнее, зеленое поселение, а там город, фабрика, где люди платят за смерть. Если кто-то самоубился, то весь город скидывается, и у всех уставшие лица, и не могут они эти деньги наскрести. Ладно. Попробуем.
Keep your wits about you, friend.
Городишко освободить. Так, мне, значит, надо на подстанцию. Так, погоди-ка. Выбора, по сути, нет. А куда я перенаправил? Я думал, будет выбор. Вашу же Машу. Я чё, сад? Выключатель перенаправителя. Ага. Так, ладно, пойдем. Чуть не пойму, выбор без выбора или как? Где?
Not real. You're not real.
Кто здесь?
Go away, Phantom.
Чуть не пойму, кто говорит. Выглядит, конечно, клево.
Get away!
Хиггинс, ты где? Ой. Верстак. Я чё, ради верстака дверь скрыл?
Mind the steam. You're liable to get scalded.
А чё, а где, а как? Тупо перелезть через верх? Опа. Ну. Где тут сложность еще повыше поставить? Да? Нету выше. Нельзя по... Это самая высокая сложность. Ладно. Я что-то не пойму, а где... О, это что такое? Инженеры, переключить клапан сброс пара. Перекрыть. Ну, давай. А, это я вот это... Как вот кинжал нашел? А, ну вот, это чтобы вот этот тайник поднять. Понятно. Что там пикает? Я не пойму, как мне выбрать город или поселение. Блин. Опа. Кровотечение. Кинжальчик. Прикольный. Оставлю, пожалуй. Против людей. Это против машины, это против людей. Окей. Это золотая дубина, блин. Так, дневник. Вот так, наверное, да? Есть как, наверное. Так, ладно. Ни хрена не понятно. Еще один. Если направить энергию мисс Макдэвид, то останется. То наступит счастье. Блин. Легче легкого. Мега ствол, еще и 400 патронов. Вообще, блин. Высокий уровень сложности, блин. Вряд ли это игра про стрельбу, конечно, но... Я какой-то имбобил в самом начале уже собрал. Чего пыхтишь? Это шорткат? Нет, я здесь не был. А, еще переключатель. Я не пойму, куда я перенаправляю. Вы хотя бы подписываете, что ли? Сейчас перенаправлю, блин, в город, и все, и привет.
Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished.
Блин.
That sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back, Edgewater's as good as dead. Cutting off their power might be the only way. Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow, she's talked the ground into giving life again.
Вот-вот.
It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. Gave a home to those that had none. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She wants to hurt the town. Do you really want to be party to that kind of hatred? Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something. Really? I mean, wow. Thanks. No one's ever told me those words in that order.
Ну, мне пофиг. Та-дам! Валим. Опять регулятор мощности. Да что ж такое? А. Я как вижу электричество, тут все нормально. Ага. Эти ребятки уже меня ждут, походу. И никак обойти нельзя, похоже. Блин, вон та дверь меня интересует. Что это было? Ну ладно. Оп. Блин. Нет! Какого хрена? Он меня ждет. Может, прям завалить его прямо тут? Ай, ладно, давай потрещим.
You want to know what gets my bile churning? Edgewater has suffered a cavalcade of disasters, plague, marauders, desertion. Then you wandered in town. And I was so damn sure our luck was starting to turn. I never knew how right I was. Just answer one question for me. Why'd you do it?
No.
Is that right? I'm dying to hear this. Please, educate me.
Educate.
Liberated? Edgewater is my home. The only home I've ever had. I put down roots here, gave decades of my life to this place. I never asked to be liberated. Whatever you were hoping to find down here, I advise you to turn around and leave. I have got guards posted with orders to fire on you.
Пошел нахер.
You just killed him.
Да. Здорово получилось.
A favor? You just made me an accomplice to murdering my boss. I can't. I need to leave. I need to get away from here. I need to get away from you. You killed Mr. Thompson for talking down his nose at me? You got a real twisted sense of shame, you know that? Let's just move on. I couldn't forgive myself if I let you loose upon the Vale unsupervised.
Теперь ты точно прирос к этому месту. Опа. Так. Дальний бой. Давай вкачаем лидерство. Блин, ничего нет. Не потратил? Да, не потратил. Кто напарника, размер магазина, научного оружия, база сопротивления. Броню давай прокачаем. Опа. Здорово, пацаны. Как вам такое, ребята? Да блин. Корявая фигня. Что это было? Твоя смерть. Я с одной пушкой тут могу ходить. Зачем мне все остальное? Так, тут вроде больше ничего нет. А вы так и дальше стоите, ребят. Горожане. Меня тут не было. Где это я появился? А, ну все. Сразу налево, значит. Пойдем, мадам, ты свободна теперь. Хотел со священником трещать. Вот будешь со священником у меня на корабле трещать. Так, как не книгу я по сюжету нашел, да, все. Ну. Давай. Да, мы это сделали. Вообще пулемет какой-то дикий. Чё и 1300 патронов? Охереть, чё и такой перекачанный-то? Либо там дальше прям жесть начнется, что в самом начале можно так перекачаться, либо баланс такой херовый. Это высокий уровень сложности.
Is this your ship? Oh my stars, she is just so handsome. Does she have a name yet? What's her drive model? Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I dreamed of flying on a real ship.
Ну вот, а ты
Working
разнылась.
on a real engine.
О, я хочу остаться,
belonging to a
люди,
powerful
ля-ля-ля.
crew. Edgewater won't last another season without power, but that don't change the fact that I'm indentured to Spacer's Choice. Company expects me back at my post. I have imagined it, but until you came along, I never thought I had the choice. I want to ask you something, and you can say no. But can I come with you? I could tend to your engine. I know my G-valves from my catalyzers, and I can keep your ship singing. And if you ever need a pair of eyes watching your back, I can do that too.
Я вообще-то думал, что ты так со мной останешься.
Yes! I mean, thanks. You won't regret this, mister. Captain. I can call you Captain now. I got a captain.
Блин, я, наверное, буду второй раз игру проходить вообще без напарников, попробую. Как это будет, интересно. Так, сюда есть быстрое перемещение? Есть. Ну-ка я как этой Аделаиде сгонцаю. Что она мне скажет? Есть ли тут какие-то изменения? Бабуля?
You hear that? That low, pleasant hum of electricity? It whispers across the veil like the winds of change. You've done well. I would have paid my last 5 bits to see the look on Reed's face when the last lamp in town burnt out and the cannery fell to silence. My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started coming, he was one of the first to fall sick. We had a store of medicine locked away, but Reed refused to treat him. Said my boy didn't deserve treatment. Said the medicine would have been wasted on him. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings, and left. That's as much of the story as you need to hear. Time's come to look toward the future. We'll grow, I expect. A lot of workers out there with nowhere else to go. Not as many as you'd think. We're not about to let the whole town join our flock. Just the ones willing to renounce their corporate loyalties and live the way nature intended. I am curious. Why did you help us? You don't know who we are. You don't owe us a thing. The plant's crawling with mechanicals, so it stands to reason you risked your life.
Да вообще такой риск был, капец.
Well, I have got nothing against a little good old-fashioned pragmatism. You're
Могу тебя
welcome
замочить.
among us if you're ever so inclined.
Ладно уж, живи, бабуля. Тут хотя бы зелени побольше. Так, давай обратно телепортейшн. И как раз час заканчивается. Тони Старк и этот напарник его, как его звать, ты уже забыл. Вор машины.
Well,
Здорово, чувак.
I certainly am looking forward to flying on a ship named the Unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room.
Да-да-да, все правильно.
I could spend hours reflecting on the secret workings of the universe. Little else in this colony offers such a relaxing pastime. So, tell me what's on your mind. I excel at confessional listening. I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous philosopher scholar who fled Terra 2 some years ago. He's an expert on Bakonu. He's also who told me of the journal's presence in Emerald Vale. If anyone in this colony could translate that book, it would be him.
Подозреваю, что эта книга окажется книгами рецептов. И все, и он такой типа
The only one I'm aware of. I suppose we could always just ask random passers-by if they are fluent in it.
Так.
We should start on the Groundbreaker. It's where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. Great place to pick up a ride to Hephaestus, Scylla, even Monarch. All I need is access to a data cartridge from the security terminal. Their easily hackable system keeps a registry of all crew manifests for both arrivals and departures.
Священник-взломщик.
Before I transferred to Edgewater, I had a wealth of time to develop certain, secular skills during my years serving a particular penitentiary flock. I meditated, led sermons, provided guidance to the inmates as needed, of course. I also played prison yard tossball and taught myself a bit about computronic security systems. Thank you, Captain.
Ну шо. Мы, как говорится, дома.
Captain, I have detected that the town of Edgewater is now without power. I appreciate you doing your part to hasten their demise.
Не за что. Так, ладно.